Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Chats with Children. I hope you're safe and well. Today, I'm delighted to join by Chris Burgess from Burgess Analytical Consultancy and formerly of GSK, because Chris is actually chairing one of the tracks at this year's PharmaLab, which is running in Neuss, which is near Dusseldorf, on November the 21st and 22nd. And we're going to learn a bit more about the track, but also, from Chris's point of view, why people should be attending PharmaLab. So first of all, Chris, it's lovely to meet you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And I'm I'm very much looking forward to PharmaLab this year.
Fantastic. Now, before we start talking about PharmaLab, but specifically the tracks that you're responsible for in terms of chairing, can you give us a quick background on yourself?
Well, as you can see, I'm no longer young. I've the next year I will have celebrated 50 years in the industry. I was with Glaxo, which then became GSK, and I've always been heavily involved in analytical chemistry, and I was in QC, QA, and a qualified person. So, in addition to that, I spent quite a lot of time being on the Council of Experts for the United States Pharmacopoeia. And finally, I'm chairman of the ECA Analytical Quality Control Group.
Fantastic, which is obviously part of PharmaLab in terms of how we put the tracks
Yes.
together. Right, so let's talk about PharmaLab. Before we talk about your tracks and the talks that you're doing yourself, from your perspective, what's your background in terms of PharmaLab and how many, how often have you attended in the past and what do you think about the event?
Well, I really enjoy PharmaLab, and I've been privileged to at least three. It may have been four, at least three. But for me, PharmaLab is um, very large. It's multidisciplinary, yeah. So you can see many, many different aspects. But the most important thing is the people. People are key, and so the tracks that I'm involved with, we get the QA, QC people together, and we can then discuss problems and developments of the day.
Brilliant. Now, as I said, you are actually chairing one of the tracks. So, what track are you actually chairing at PharmaLab this year?
Uh, I have to tell you, it's the longest titled track, okay, but it's really about the analytical procedure, life cycle, and validation. Yeah. And for analytical procedures, and we're running over 2 days. And I'm chairing the track on the first day, and Dr. Joachim Emmer, my colleague from the USP on the board, is chairing the second day.
Right. Okay. And why is that track? And it may sound like a really stupid and simple question, but why is that track so important? And what are some of the topics that are going to be covered within that track?
Okay. Well, we don't have that long to go into the details, and hopefully people will then come along and listen to the detail. But really, we have to remember that quality control is the engine room, the data engine room for the industry. And so anything, the developments, the GMPs, all the elements in there of control are incredibly important. And now, as of last week, the International Confidence Organization, ICH, have finalized Q2R2, which is on validation of analytical procedures, and Q14, which is on the development of analytical procedures. So, in this particular PharmaLab, we'll be able to talk about the very latest of developments and discuss what we like and what we don't like.
Fantastic. Now, you yourself are actually presenting a couple of talks as well at the event, I
Yes.
understand. So, what are you actually presenting on?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm on the United States Pharmacopoeia Council of Experts, and I have the privilege of developing with colleagues the latest general chapter in USP on analytical procedure lifecycle, which is part of the title of the track, USP General Chapter 1220. And in addition, the analytical instrument qualification chapter 1058 is also under development, and I have the privilege of being the chair of that particular committee that's revising it. So there are lots of exciting things going on and lots of exciting information to share.
Fantastic. Now, apart from the talks, of course, which are going to be very good because you're obviously presenting a couple and chairing them, why what else do you look forward to when you go to PharmaLab? Because I mean, obviously you've got the talks, you've got obviously the big exhibition hall with lots of companies there as well. So what else do you look forward to when you go to PharmaLab?
It's, I mean, crux of everything are people, and we've had years where COVID has been made things very difficult, and we really need to get back together and find out where we are and where we want to be going. And the only way to do that is in an environment like PharmaLab and
Right.
other ECA events.
Fantastic. Well, look, that's brilliant. Well, look, Chris, I know you're under the cosh a little bit, so you've got quite a lot to do. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. But one final question is, obviously, if anyone's watching this right now and going, "Great, that sounds quite interesting," but they still are, on the fence about attending, why? One last word: why should they be coming to PharmaLab in a couple of weeks' time?
Well, from a QP's perspective, if you look at the speaker list that we have an enormous amount of international talent coming together. And that's the opportunity for everybody to make progress and catch up.
Fantastic, Chris. Well, look, I appreciate taking time out in your busy schedule to talk to me, and I'll hopefully we'll see you at PharmaLab in person in a couple of weeks as
Yeah,
well.
and I hope to see a lot of other people there as well.
Fantastic. Now there you go, viewers. So uh, if you haven't registered yet for PharmaLab and you'd like to learn more, then click on the link above this video, and you can see the full agenda that Chris is talking about and the different talks, and you can sign up for it. If you already are attending, then both Chris and I will look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. So, Chris,
Yep.
thank you very much for your time. And
Thank
viewers,
you.
thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.